Dak's our quarterback, and we're so fired up about him, and him leading us in the future. And it's like I said, we're focused week to week right now on getting better each week, and certainly we're fired up about our future with Dak.
You feel pretty strongly that Mike is the guy going into 2021, regardless of how the rest of this season plays out?
Absolutely, unequivocal.
I'm reminded of the opening statement from Joe Pesci and My Cousin Vinny, where he stands up and says everything that guy just said is bull crap. Thank you. He didn't say crap. What I'd like to say is everything that guy just said could be bull crap. Thank you. They're not bound by any of this. They're not bound by saying that Dak's our quarterback and he's going to be our quarterback well in the future. They're not bound by saying Mike McCarthy will unequivocally be back next year. Back in 2010, Jerry Jones said that there was no way, no how he was going to fire Wade Phillips during the season. And then he fired Wade Phillips during the season the next week. When it happens, nobody wags a finger, especially not in post-truth America. Nobody's going to say, but you said, sir, that you would not be firing your cat. No, we cover the event and we move on. So, look, I'm not complaining about having content. We talked about this on PFTPM last night. This is what we do. We cover the sport. But I don't believe it for a second. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying whether or not it does or doesn't happen, either as to Dak or as to McCarthy. Whether or not it happens has no relationship whatsoever to what Stephen Jones said yesterday, period.
Well, I get that. All right, so I don't know if I totally agree with you there. I agree with you on Mike McCarthy. I think that is still going to be evaluated through this process. And I don't think Dallas is one to kind of just cut the cord after a year. I really do believe them, and they want to play the long play here and build something with McCarthy. Man, with Dak Prescott, Mike, I feel like they're cornered. First off, of course they're excited about having him back. Now they realize how awesome he is. That's the first thing. They're going to go, damn, he's better than we thought he was, because we are absolute crap when he's not here playing for us. Whoa, at least we were offensively explosive when he was here, even without a run game or all that. But the other thing is, man, they're going to look like some real jerks down there if they don't at least make a franchise offer to Dak Prescott coming off that severity of the injury.
What if they're in position to get Trevor Lawrence? What if they end up at the top of the draft order? Would you take Dak Prescott, paying him $37 million plus next year under the franchise tag, or Trevor Lawrence with a 4-year contract that would be less than $37 million for all 4 years combined?
I'd probably take Trevor Lawrence. I probably would. Okay, but that's probably about it. It has to be Trevor Lawrence, all right? And that I don't say that lightly, because I think Dak Prescott is one of the 6 or 7 best quarterbacks in football, top 8. He's somewhere in that range. He is. I don't care what anybody says. It might not be sexy, and it lacks cool flair when he throws it and all of that stuff, but either way, the results are sexy. And then he hangs in there and he's tough and all that. But Trevor Lawrence is the only guy, Mike. I don't think any, the Justin Fields, the kids up in North Dakota State, no way. There's some other guys that I know are going to be in this conversation too, but I just don't think you can easily part ways with a guy like Dak Prescott. He's too talented, and that is an injury that, I know it was serious, but I do think he'll be very close to getting back to 100%. It's not going to affect the rest, long-term part of his career.
Chris, what's the point, though, in taking that card off the table now? There's got to be a way to stick handle through the verbal minefield to not disrespect Dak, but also to not close the door on the possibility. Why do you do it? Because look, let's say that you do get the Trevor Lawrence pick. Part of your leverage to get the ultimate value in trading it is to create the impression that you want him. One of the reasons why the Dolphins were offering the Bengals whatever they ultimately offered is the Bengals wanted Joe Burrow, right? If the Bengals had put out the word that they're committed to Andy Dalton, it would have been a hell of a lot easier to pry that pick away from the Cincinnati Bengals. So sometimes your best leverage is, yeah, he's our guy. You get more that way. So I just think, and look, I know, and this is one of the dangers of doing these radio interviews. If you're Stephen Jones or Jerry Jones, you're going to get yourself into a spot where while speaking extemporaneously, you're going to say something you're going to have to deal with later. But I don't like removing options when you're a bad team that could end up with the top pick and could end up with a chance to get Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I understand that now, but what if now you're going to be the number 3 pick, right? Let's just say the Jets do get number 1 and the Jaguars are number 2. I mean, when the season's over, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with Dak? You're going to offer him the franchise tag at least, right, to start off there.
Right. But we don't know what pick they're going to have.
I
mean, that's the thing. Why close doors now? It makes no sense to close doors now and say that Dak. And the other thing, too, is this is the great disconnect that the Cowboys continue to engage in with Dak Prescott. They say all the glowing positive things about him. Like that's a replacement for paying him. Like we really love Dak and he's our future. Well, then why in the hell didn't you give him a contract offer the moment that the window opened to sign him to a long-term deal instead of screwing around? And I almost said a word other than screwing around for the last 3 years while his leverage keeps going up and it keeps getting more and more expensive. And they're still doing it, Chris. They have been over a barrel because they've put themselves there with all the things they've said about Dak.
Well, they definitely haven't helped their cause. I mean, yes, but also, I mean, we know they did make a good offer to him. He just wasn't to his liking. Yeah, I think that's where it went off the rails a little bit. Anybody I know with knowledge of the situation, it seems like Dallas thought Dak would take a little less to be the quarterback of the Cowboys. I think that's what Dallas thought, the Jones family. And it came time, and Dak said, hey, I like you guys. Nothing personal, but this is business, and I'm not taking less for nobody. Sorry.
Well, and now you're proving my point. Nothing personal. This is business. We have to evaluate all of our options.
Right.
We have to see what happens.
Okay, but Mike, like you said at the start, who cares if he says this now and he doesn't want to firestorm? He's got enough issues in Dallas. He doesn't want to start talking about now we're going to get rid of Dak Prescott and go to Trevor Lawrence. So, yeah, like we said, he said what he had to say. Okay, he moves on. I think they believe in Dak.
Right.
But we'll see what that happens if they have that number 1 pick. I bet you that'll make him recess, Mike, like you're saying.
My point is you don't want to complicate your effort to get maximum value if you truly do believe that Dak's the guy, because now you're going to have to deal with that when you're negotiating with some other team. They're going to play back the stuff you said, and they're going to try to get you to take less. If you want to maximize the value of that pick, you don't want to take cards off the table. That's all I'm saying. I don't believe what he said. But if I was another GM negotiating with him, I would hit him over the head with what he said repeatedly and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike. That's what I would do.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.